What is absolutely worth paying someone else to do?
Story 1. If you live with someone else, a house cleaner. Unless one of you loves cleaning so much it's like a hobby, it will reduce stress and friction among those you live with. Even if there aren't outright fights, in my experience, often there is silent resentment from the person who does most of the cleaning, and there is almost always one person who does most of the cleaning. If you dispute this and think it's perfectly 50-50 with your partner or roommate, then it's the other person. Dude, I just moved out of a house where a 50-year-old child lived. As he was moving in, he was very chipper when he told me that when the tub backs up, to clean his hair out of the drain. I knew then, and I was right. Dude effing sucked. Similar, 40-year-old roommate, landlord with an even more gross 50-year-old roommate, where the claw tub would clog and backflow, something that didn't smell like septic sludge, but looked like it. Landlord never properly fixed it, and I'd either shower at the gym or sumo squat on the edges of the tub, reciting the statistics for bath-based injuries in my head. Then, for his 3rd anniversary, his girlfriend gave him the gift of forced cohabitation. She moved in, and while she annexed most of the house, she didn't actually insist on fixing the horrific plumbing issue, so the shower was just permanently clogged with 4 inches of backflow, something in the bottom of the tub. I started removing the hair myself, putting it on the wall behind the curtain in the shape of the word help, but got bored and forgot about it while I was still on the L. A month later, I got called in front of the tribunal to be informed how disgusting that was of me. Okay, how about she cleans up her own hair? She can't. The tub clogs and backflows. Oh, really? Gee, that sounds like a problem the landlord should take care of. I moved out the next month, which solved the problem for me at least. The dude was quite a hoarder, but wasn't far from it. He parked his car outside because there was a literal junk pile filling his 2-car garage, which my bicycle was thrown onto when his girlfriend decided to annex the foyer, but I was assured by text that it was thrown gently. When I moved in, I'd been given 1 cupboard and 1 veggie crisper for my food. The other cupboards held food so old, I found a Campbell's soup can old enough to vote. And when I myself got fed up and cleaned out / annexed the fridge, I found 5 46-ounce pickle jars hidden among the condiments, all expired with expiration dates up to 6 years prior, and the one from 5 years prior hadn't even been opened. 5 trash bags worth of expired food, including a cheese plate with mold in colors I didn't know were possible, which my landlord walked in on me throwing out. Hey, that cheese plate is from February? It was August. At the same tribunal in the previous paragraph, I pointed out how chill I had been about so much BS, including the cupboard situation. Girlfriend, you liar, you also have that cupboard next to the fridge. You mean the sheet pan cupboard filled with decade-old Hamburger Helper and football jerseys? Can't explain the jerseys, but it's pretty obvious to anyone looking at me that I don't give a crap about sports ball, and I ate like a bodybuilder during a cut. Girlfriend's face shows anger, embarrassment, then anger again, looking at her boyfriend. Well, landlord said it was your cupboard. Did you forget that I'm the one who showed you the soup can? As I was literally in the bathroom, taking a phone pic of the literal piece of crap about the size and shape of a Hershey's Kiss left on the floor, which had clearly been noticed and wiped at, but only half of it, my landlord both blamed the 50-year-old roommate not present and denied the possibility it could be true because, he said nervously, looking at his girlfriend, he had just cleaned the bathroom, like his girlfriend had told him to. He decided the offer of a field trip upstairs to observe Schrodinger's poo. Holy crap! No pun intended, and that crap didn't sound holy, but that's a ridiculous roommate situation to find yourself in, and I'm very happy that you've gotten out of it, and I hope no one else gets into it, and I hope those folks maybe realize that the way they're living is not the healthiest, and they should try not doing that. That's wild. I do have to say, though, you've made a very good case for just how great it is to hire someone to do cleaning for you. I mean, in your case, it would probably be a better idea to hire someone to help you move out.
Story 2. Moving. This a million times over. I'm too old for that crap, and I'm not even old. I'll pay someone gladly to do it for me. Yes, call the professionals. Nobody wants to help you move. Ever. True story, my husband was trying so hard to get me to date him, he showed up and helped me move. I had met him in a bar a few nights prior, he was drunk, made a butt out of himself, and I wasn't impressed. I had a futon I was selling back when Craigslist was the way to sell crap fast, and he responded. I told him if he would come get it, he could just have it because I was moving and I needed to be out in 2 days as my house had sold. He came over to get it, I opened the door and was shocked to see him there. I played it cool, acting like I didn't recognize him, but I was thinking, this is going to be great at girls' night. No way he's going to remember me. Well, he did, and he apologized for his behavior, then proceeded to ask me out properly. I said, no thanks, I'm good. He asked when I was moving, and I told him Saturday morning. He showed up Saturday morning with a U-Haul and 3 buddies at 7 a.m. with donuts and Starbucks. Moved all of my stuff to my new place and wouldn't let me lift a box. Stayed and moved all my furniture to exactly where I wanted it and set up my TVs, DVD players, etc. Once everything was done, it was like 7 p.m., so he ordered pizza to be delivered along with some sodas. He asked me again if I wouldn't reconsider a proper date, and after that I couldn't say no. I married him 18 months later. We were married for 8 years last month. He's never told me how much he had to pay his buddies for moving a 5-bedroom house at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning for a girl they met like 2 minutes at a bar the previous Saturday when dealing with their drunk friend. He had pretty dedicated wingmen.
Well, hey, look, moving out, here's good reason to do that. But also, what a sweet, touching story. Like, this could have gone in a creepy direction, but it didn't, and I'm very happy for that, so that's wonderful. I don't imagine I'll have a lot of cheerful, wonderful stories in this video, but I'm gonna savor what I can.
Story 3. Roofing. I was looking for this. My dad retired a couple years ago and he had a list of things he wanted to accomplish. A new roof was one of those things. I love him to death, but he's one of those guys who never wants to spend money on something he can do himself. But by himself, he thought I was going to take off work for a week and my cousin and uncle were going to take off work to help him take off the old shingles and put in the new ones. It ended up taking like 2 weeks to finish in the heat. And I was like, just pay a company the money and this could take a crew of professionals a day, maybe 2. I mean, I don't even work construction or anything. I'm a freaking librarian. I didn't know how to shingle a roof and my cousin is an accountant. It sucked. If I ever have a house I need to replace a roof on, it will absolutely be worth the money to pay a pro. Story 4. Really, anything that you value your own time too much to do. Almost everything we buy is us paying someone else to do that thing for us. There was a guy who made a chicken sandwich completely by himself, growing wheat and making bread, raising the chicken and slaughtering it. Apparently it wasn't that good or worth the effort. This is how I look at it. We have someone clean our pool every week, do our landscaping once a month, and a cleaning service comes monthly as well. I can do all those things, but it would take me most of a weekend day per month to do it all. I value my time way more than I value my money. Of course, I'm extremely privileged to be able to afford all of that. Not everyone is able to do so, and I wasn't until somewhat recently. But as I get older, I value my free time so much more than I used to.
Okay, this right here, this is something that I absolutely feel because for years I had relatives who were better with like mechanics and stuff like that who were trying to tell me that I needed to learn how to change my own oil. And I'd always be like, why? It's not that expensive. I can just, I can just go to the mechanic or whatever and have them change the oil. There are oil change places that do it very quickly. And then it'd be like, well, I mean, you can do it yourself. Why pay someone else to do it when you can do it yourself? And I think the best response I ever came up with was, well, why do you buy groceries? You can grow your own food. Oh, is it because it's a hassle and you can easily just pay someone to do something that you don't want to do? Wow, what a novel concept.
Story 5. Drywall work, especially mud and tape. Professionals make it look like sorcery. I make it look like 2 weeks of mud, sand, six-pack sand, whiskey, screw it, paint. Once you figure out that the trick is to not try so hard, less is more. If you have quality trowels, use very little mud between coats and feather out wider each application. You shouldn't have to sand much off at all between coats, leaving the sanding for the very end when, again, shouldn't be that much. If you have large lifts between coats, you just slice them off with the trowel. It's basically approaching it like a teenager doing minimal effort when working on their chores. Find and do all the shortcuts, you will realize this is the best way and gives you the best results. That also the types of mud, there are so many options, but basically green is for your first coat or two, blue, lightweight, is going to be the last, and touch up where you will be sanding. Paper tape for factory joints, mesh for butt joints and repairs. Lastly, most importantly, if you cannot figure it out and don't want to do it, pay someone else. It's that easy. Story 6. Cleaning your septic tank out. During the pandemic, we got ours cleaned for the first time in 8 years of owning the house. Guy said, "You use a different company in the middle?" "Nope, this is the first time in 8 years we're getting it emptied." He looked at us, looks in the tank and says, "Huh, y'all don't crap much, do ya?" My grandparents had our septic tank clean when they bought this place in '98. Red X once a month for 25 years and it hasn't been pumped since. On the other hand, I have an uncle who cleans his toilet by dumping a bottle of bleach in the toilet and has to have his tank pumped once a year. Story 7. Movers. After a certain age, beer and food isn't enough to help move everything from one home to another. Totally. When I move, I make sure there's a lease overlap of at least a week. Spend 6 days with a van or big car taking boxes and smaller stuff over, then pay some people to move the big and heavy stuff. If they're only moving several pieces of furniture, it's quick and cheap. Story 8. Surgery. There was a Soviet surgeon who was the only doctor at an Antarctic outpost and ended up having to remove his own appendix. That must have sucked. Story 9. Dog nails and anal gland expression. My dog had a bad experience once and now he won't let anyone get close to his nails. His feet are fine, but once you go for nails, all hell breaks loose. Anal gland expression. My dog's vet once told me, you could do this yourself at home. It's easy. I'm like, nice try, Tom Sawyer, but nope. LOL.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I know that I could express my dog's anal glands and stuff, but I don't. We do trim one of our dog's nails. It's easy enough to do, but the other dog, our little Shar-Pei pit bull, wonderful girl, occasionally needs anal glands expressed, and her nails, she is not a fan of having them trimmed. So I just take her to the vet. The vet does it for me. They even got a nice little punch card. I got my last visit for free. Look at that. She got a finger in the butt for free. If only we could all be so lucky.
Story 10. Everything you hate or suck at. Story 11. Cutting down trees. I'm too old to go climbing up a huge oak tree with a chainsaw. Story 12. Cleaning service. Worth it each month. I do this for a living. The joy that people get from me doing this makes me love what I do. I've been thinking about hiring a cleaner to come once a month or so, but I keep talking myself out of it because it feels, lazy. Like I keep guilt-tripping myself that I should be able to keep up with the cleaning, but this thread is making me rethink that, and I think you're right. It'll be good to have someone come at least once a month so I can stay on top of it. Thank you. Story 13. Maids. I rent and my landlord starts charging us $50 for a maid service every other week. A lot of friends tried telling me it's a waste of money, but their house is normally dirtier than mine and they have a cleaning day. $50 is hella cheap. You don't want to know what I pay every week. Story 14. Massages. This is my favorite treat for self-activity. I live with chronic pain, so a massage is heavenly.
Yeah, as much as I like to think that I'm very good at, giving massages for my partner and am willing to do so many times a week if she so desires, I can't compete with a professional. I got her an appointment with a really nice professional for her birthday, and life-changing. Folks, if you like massages, every once in a while treat yourself. It's worth it.
Story 15. Landscaping. My God, I hate pulling weeds and trimming an overgrown garden. With my allergies and sensitive skin, it's even more of a disaster. Dude, yeah, but I'm the opposite. I love pulling weeds and clearing out overgrown areas. It just feels right. I have no allergies, and even though I'm English and Irish, I never get sunburned, even here in South Texas. I'm so glad people will pay me to do it. Story 16. Haircut. Tried it once in COVID beginning, and yeah, it's better if someone else does it. Hairstylist approved. Story 17. Cleaning rain gutters a couple times a year. Making tamales. Making tamales can be fun if you line up all the family members and make an assembly line. Many hands equal light work. Story 18. Kids' birthday party. You're effing nuts if you want 15 5-year-olds at your house effing crap up. See you at the trampoline park. When our oldest turned 4, my husband was against spending the money on a party place. We had a party at our house. Yeah, great idea. Needless to say, I didn't do it again for either kid until we let them have a sleepover for their 10th birthday. Our parents had a very specific plan for parties for us. We'd get one when we were 6, 13, and at 18 we could throw our own. The rest of the time it was a fairly small family group for dinner and cake. The difference between behavior in kids when they're 5 and when they're 6 is tremendous. Parties for kids when they're 6 is doable. Parties when they're 5 is a serious headache.
I don't think you could pay me enough to host a children's birthday party. That sounds awful. I've been to a few for nephews and nieces, and they're wonderful. I love my nephews and nieces so much. Birthday parties for them are madness, and I didn't even have to help with anything. I was just chatting with the other adults having a drink, and I didn't enjoy it. If I had responsibilities? No.
Story 19. Sheetrock. I'll build a house from the ground up, but F sheetrock. Every renovation I've done the sheetrock myself, and every time I swear I'll never do it again. Yet, about to start another kitchen remodel, and I know I'll end up doing it myself. Hate it. I'm disappointed how far I had to scroll to find this. There's only one job in the world worse than sheetrock/drywall, and that is taping and mudding the sheetrock. Story 20. Replacing the spring on the garage door. That can be lethal if you don't know what you're doing. Story 21. Anything that involves crawling under the house. Or on the roof. Story 22. Weird fetishes, obviously. Story 23. Pest control and exterminator service. Story 24. Garage door work that involves the spring. Story 25. Anything that you're pretty sure you'll F up if you do it yourself.
Man, I'm gonna have to pay for a lot of stuff then. A lot of stuff.
Story 26. Anything to do with heights. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.